I'm going to take you through an FMS, all 7 screens with Rachel, and just highlight some of the things that people might get wrong or get a bit confused about, and how to score it properly as well. Okay? So first of all, we're going to go through the deep squat, because that's the first screen in the FMS. So I want you to just take hold of the dowel with the knuckles on top. You're going to place the dowel on top of your head, so just rest it on top of your head. We just want to make sure before they start that they get both elbows at 90 degrees, so standardising the test for everyone. So we're just bringing this arm out a little bit, and then that one seems pretty good. Then just push that straight above your head. Okay, so feet about hip width apart, just keeping the heels in place and the torso upright. I want you to descend down as far as you can and just hold that bottom position for a count of 1. Okay, and then come back up. And then you can try a couple of reps, but if you see that they're not getting to full range and it's not going to score a 3, then you can just move on to the modification, which means you just lift your heels onto the test kit there, hands in the same position, and just see if they can go all the way down in this position with the heels raised. Okay. As you can see, she's got much more range there. She can get right down to the bottom, torso stays nice and upright. And if I come round to another 90-degree angle here, I can see that her knees aren't going into a valgus bend as well. Okay. The important thing with this one, as with all the screens, is to try not to do a demonstration of the movement yourself. You're trying to look for an instinctive pattern that they have or don't have. So try not to let them copy anything that you've already done. Okay? So that's going to score a 2 on the deep squat. The next one we're going to do is the hurdle step. So just going to grab the 2x4 of the test kit. Take the posts and put them in. Okay, now we need to get a measurement from Rachel's leg, just to make sure that this hurdle is set up at the right height. So we're going to use the dowel. If you just stand slide onto the dowel there. Okay, and then we're just going to take a measurement that represents the same scale on the hurdle, just at her tibial tuberosity, so it's the little bump at the bottom of the knee there that we're looking for. So if I get a straight line from there, we're looking at 17 for the measurement. So we're going to raise the hurdle up to 17. Okay, and that's how we know that the hurdle is being standardised for Rachel. Okay, so this time she's going to come around and stand with her toes just touching the test kit and feet together. Okay, so feet together, toes touching the test kit. Then you're going to just take the dowel and rest it on your shoulders this time. So just resting on the shoulders. Okay, and then just with one leg, I want you to step over, touch the heel down on the opposite side of the hurdle, and then bring it back again. Try and keep your eye line sort of straight ahead rather than looking at your feet. Okay. You do a couple of reps on each side. And all we're looking for is, can she maintain ankle, knee and hip alignment as she steps over? And is the hip staying in full extension on the opposite side to the stepping leg? Okay. So to score a 3, you want perfect alignment on ankle, knee and hip, and a nice extended hip on the stance leg. So as you can see, Rachel's got a little bit of deviation from that central line in terms of her ankle, knee and hip, but she's not losing balance, she's not falling over or knocking the hurdle over. So she's got an ability to complete the movement, but it's not perfect. So we'll score it a 2 on both sides. This is an asymmetric or a bilateral test, or a unilateral test, sorry. So we're looking at differences from left and right side on this one as well, but there was no clear difference. So it's a 2 and a 2. Okay. Next one we're going to do is the inline lunge. You can take the hurdles out of the 2x4. Going to get her to set up on the 2x4, but before we make her stand on 2x4, find it a lot easier to get them to instruct them how to hold the dowel first. Okay, so what you want to do is just say to them, I want you to hold the dowel behind your back, so you've got 3 points of contact: back of your head, the middle of the back, and the top of your bum. Okay, you have one hand behind your neck, and the other hand in the small of your back. Okay, so you're just going to hold onto the dowel like that. So that's a much easier way of setting them up rather than getting to hold the dowel whilst they're balancing on the 2x4. Then whichever hand is at the top that they choose to have at the top, just bring this down a little bit and this one up a bit. So you can hold it with the hand like that rather than just a little bit higher. Okay, so we've got 3 points of contact: the bum, the middle of the back, and the top of the head. So make sure the top of the head stays in contact. Okay, so whichever hand is at the top, which they choose to have at the top, that's the side that you can start on. So we're going to do this leg on 0, so the toes on 0 there.
On this side?
Yeah. That's actually standing on the test kit.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, and then with the other foot, we've already got a measurement from the hurdle step that we're going to use. Okay, so I want the heel of your front foot to be on that 17, so the rest of your foot is in front of it. Okay, right in the middle. Okay, so that's how we get them set up onto the hurdle step. Common thing that people get wrong on this one is using the wrong arm at the top to the foot that's on 0. So make sure the arm at the top is the foot that is on 0, not the other way around. Okay. So in this position, I want you to keep your balance, descend down so the back knee touches the test kit behind the front heel. Okay, and then come back up. And come back up. Good. Okay, we'll try a couple more reps. So you can just move around. Make sure you sort of look at it from 90-degree angles if possible. Okay. We'll do one more, and then back up. Okay, good. So you can step off the test kit. So for that one, we're getting good maintenance of the 3 points of contact on the dowel. A little bit of deviation on the back knee, just moving off the test kit. But ultimately, she's got an ability to complete the movement properly. So if in doubt, always score low. So if you feel like maybe that knee isn't in the right position, then give it a 2, but she's not a 1 because she has an ability to complete the movement. Okay, so it's a 2 on that side. The side that you're scoring for the sake of the score sheet is the foot is the lead limb, the foot that's in front. So that was for her left side. The next one we're going to do is do the right side, but you have to change your hand position first. So just switch, just this one at the top. So in the neck, in the small of the back of that one. This foot on 0, and then you're going to step forward to the lines on 17 again. Okay, and we're just looking for any clear differences between left and right side, maintenance of those 3 points of contact. Back up, good. Okay, good. So again, ability to complete the movement. I'd say you could probably, for both those sides, score that a 3 and a 3. No clear difference between the two, and she's got an ability to do the movement, which is all we're looking for, really. Okay, so next one we're going to do is the shoulder mobility test. So moving on, all we need for this one is a dowel. Okay, we're going to take a measurement from Rachel's hand. So I want you to just hold the hand out. Okay, and we're just going to take it from the distal crease, which is a fancy way of saying the first crease on the wrist. Okay, so the first sort of clear crease on the wrist. Take it from there to the top of the middle finger. So we've got a measurement of 18. Okay, so that's what you're going to use to decide what is a 3, 2 or a 1 on your reaching test or the shoulder mobility test. Okay, so it has to be within that distance to get a 1, sorry, to get a 3. Has to be within a hand and a half to get a 2, and if it's outside a hand and a half distance, then it's a 3. Okay, so this is one where you often see a little bit of an asymmetry on the reaching test. So if I get Rachel to just turn around so you've got your back to the camera, we're going to have thumbs in fists. Okay, I want you to move your hands out to the side first. Okay, and then one arm at the top, one arm at the bottom, and in one smooth movement, try and get your hands as close together as you can. Okay, so bang, don't really need to take a measurement from that because that's obviously going to be a 3 on that side, and then the same thing on the other side. Okay, so even though this one's slightly closer, they're both within that bracket of scoring a 3. They're both within a hand's width. Okay, the lead limb or the top limb is the side you're scoring on this one. So that was her right side, and the first one was her left side. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. The only thing to remember on this one is if they're bang on the hand length. So if she was 18, then that would mean it was a 2. Okay, so 18 means a 2 if that's her hand length, and it has to be below to score a 3. Okay, anything above a hand and a half, bang on, is a 1. Okay, or above. Next little test you do, really straightforward, is a shoulder clearing test. So what I want you to do is just place your palm on the shoulder. Okay, and then maintaining that palm placement, I want you to lift your elbow just as high as you can without losing palm placement. Okay, any pain with that position?
No.
Okay, good. Then we're going to switch sides. Same thing, any pain with that position?
No.
Okay, good. So the thing that some people quite often get wrong with that one is they'll do that and they'll let the client lift their elbow as high as they can with losing palm placement. So you want to maintain that palm placement. It doesn't have to be a high lift, it's just pain or no pain. Okay? That's something that I actually neglected a little bit on the first 3 screens. I haven't asked Rachel yet whether there was any pain with any of those screens.
No.
No pain? Okay, so that's something worth checking after each one, or maybe after a couple that you've done already, because you want to make sure there's no pain with any of the screens, okay, because that would mean it was a score of a 0, okay? Right, so we've done the shoulder mobility. The next one to do is the active leg raise. So we need a mat for this one, because we're going to have the client lying down on the floor. I'll move it into shot a bit more. So we're going to use the test kit just across the mat. If you lie down on your back with your head up this end, back of the knees touching the test kit. Okay?
Yeah.
And then what we're going to do is make sure, like Rachel's in a good position now, hands by her side, flat on the mat. And we want toes just towards the shins like that, okay? So we've got a nice straight leg, back of the leg stays nice and straight, okay? To score this one, we're going to chunk the leg up into 3 areas, okay? So we're going to have from mid-thigh to the sort of top of the pelvis here, that's where you score a 3, okay? If you get the opposite leg into this zone, a nice straight leg, that would mean a 3. Anything from mid-thigh to the middle of the knee joint is going to be a 2, and anything below the knee joint is going to be a 1, okay? And obviously pain would be 0. So what we're going to do is just set up the bell around mid-thigh, okay? So you can use a good sort of rough estimate of that, or you can take a measurement if you really want to, but most people can sort of visualise mid-thigh. And then we're just going to ask her to keep this knee in contact with the test kit, so don't let that knee lift off. And we're going to keep this leg nice and straight and slowly just go as far as you can with a straight leg, lifting it up there without letting this other leg move. Okay, and then back down. Okay, you can use a little bit of contact on this knee to see if she gets to a point where this leg wants to lift up. So any movement on this side, you can tell them to stop the movement. So I can do that again and wait. If I say stop, then stop. So go again. Okay, good. That's it, that's fine. Going back down. So as you can see, she's getting her opposite ankle bone into the zone between her pelvis and mid-thigh, which means she's scoring a 3 on her left side. Okay? And then we repeat the same on the other side. I'll stay this side so you can see. And we're going to do the same thing, keeping this in contact and lifting this leg. Okay, and back down. Okay, try to stop a little bit earlier because this side's moving a little bit, so just go up. Okay, as far as you can without moving, that's better, and then back down again. Okay, so again, she's still getting into that zone. Pelvis to mid-thigh, she's in here, ankle bone is the marker. Okay, not the heel, it has to be the ankle bone that gets past that point. And it's a nice even 3 and 3 on that side. Okay, so another one where you might see a little bit of asymmetry on a few people. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is just get the test kit out of the way. So we're going to go into the trunk stability push-up next. Okay, so this time I want you to just lie in front. Okay, we're going to reach out, just hands out in front of you, body head. Okay, so flat on the mat. Okay. Going to get the lower body into position first. You want just toes up like that, okay? And slide the hands down so your thumbs are level with your chin, okay? So because we obviously Rachel's a female, we're going to have the hands in line with the chin at the starting point, okay? If it was a male, this is the only screen which is different from male to female. The hands will start off a little bit higher. They'll be in line with the temple, okay? But we start them at chin level, thumbs at chin level with the females, okay? So we're just going to lift the knees a little bit off the ground, okay? You can lift the elbows up, keep the hands where they are, okay? And then in this position, I just want you to try and keep the trunk as straight as you can, and try and lift your body, okay. Yeah, off the floor, so it all comes up at the same time, okay? So try and lift everything up at the same time, okay? And back down, good, okay? Little rest, and if you can do this a couple of times again, so have another go. Okay, good. So this time I'll make it a little easier. Actually, you moved your hands down a bit anyway, so you've cheated a little bit, but because they're a bit more clavicle level now. So if they're not getting all the way up in a perfect movement on the way up with the hands in the first position, then you can move them down a little bit so they're in line with the clavicle or the collarbone. And then just go again and just try the same thing again. So you want to see it all move up at the same time, okay, and then back down, okay. So I'd say that's a 2 on that score, because to get a 3 you have to have the hands in the first position. And to get anything less than a 2 means that you'd probably see a break in the movement. So lower body would come up after the upper body in more cases than none. So that's actually quite a good score on the trunk stability push-up. A lot of females tend to struggle with that one because upper body strength can be a bit of a common weakness. Okay, so we're going to do a clearing test now. This time you can keep your hands where they were in that sort of finished position, sort of clavicle height. I want to keep your lower body on the floor and lift your upper body as far as you can, and then just any pain or no pain with that position. No pain. So all you're testing there is can they get into a decent amount of lumbar extension without any pain. Okay, so that's good, no pain. Okay, so she scored a 2 on the trunk stability push-up. Okay, the next one we're going to do is the rotary stability. Okay, so what I tend to do with this one is actually demonstrate the start position first, because it can be quite hard to verbalise. So we're going to just go into all fours. We're going to have 6 points of contact on the test kit. We're going to have toes in contact, knees in contact, and thumbs in contact. You're going to have hips over knees and shoulders over hands. Okay, that's your start position. Okay, so that's what I want to get into. So notice I'm just demonstrating the start position, still not demonstrating any movements because we want it to be instinctive. Okay, so this one we're going to do first is always quite a tough one. So you just need to let the client know that, and hopefully they don't feel too demoralised if they can't do it, because it's very difficult to do. So don't worry if you can't do this, we're just going to try it. So I want you to use your right hand out in front and your right, and your right leg out behind you. I want you to extend them out at the same time as if you were sort of flying on one side, and then try and bring your knee to elbow back towards each other, okay, after you've done that movement.
On the same side?
On the same side. Okay, so you can see that it's going to be very difficult for her to do it on that side, so we just move on straight away. You don't need to give her another opportunity. And then same thing on the other side. Always test both sides of this one, because you might find an asymmetry, so try the same thing on the other side. Okay, so she's not going to score a 3 and a 3. Pretty straightforward. Move on quickly so they don't get too worried about that, because it's a difficult one. And then we're going to do the same thing this time, but I want you to do opposite arm, opposite leg. So we'll do right arm, left leg, but I want you to bring the knee to elbow so they make contact over the top of the test kit, okay?
So out first.
Out first, and then knee to elbow. Okay, and then back out. We'll do one more rep. Okay, and then back down again. Okay, so that was good. She had an ability to complete that movement, so I'm going to score her 2 on her right side, because we score on the side of the lead limb, which in this case is her right hand. Okay. Next one we're going to do the left side. So, okay, one more rep. Okay, good, and back down. So again, she had an ability to complete the movement. We're going to score her 2 on both sides, no asymmetry there. The key things to look for on that one is, are they maintaining those points of contact of the non-moving limbs on the test kit, which she was doing. So 2 and a 2. Okay. Last little clearing test that we're going to do. So I'm just going to slide that out. Stay in that position on all fours. I just want you to rock back so your hips go towards your heels, and then reach out right in front so your chest goes towards your knees. And that's just testing if there's any pain in lumbar flexion. Okay. So any pain in that position?
No.
Okay, cool. So no pain on any of the screens, which is good. If we look at the scores that we got there, we got a 2 on the deep squat, we got a 2 and a 2 on the hurdle step, we got a 3 and a 3 on the inline lunge, we got a 3 and a 3 on the reaching test, the shoulder mobility test, a 3 and a 3 on the active straight leg raise, a 2 on the trunk stability push-up, and a 2 and a 2 on the rotary stability. So as far as her scoring goes, that's a pretty good screen. Off the top of my head, I can't do the math straight away, but no pain. She's going to be above the red line mark of 14, which means her movement's good, and we can move forward with her program and hopefully do some quite decent stuff in the gym with her and not have to worry too much about corrective work. So that's the screen.